do have to entertain what's happening in the MMA world, right? And one of the biggest events, I don't know why, but just took place in Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. And Ben Askren, man, he let the MMA community down, dude. MMA community is in shambles. How does this knockout, this first round knockout that Jake Paul served Ben Askren, how does that affect the average Joe who's now saying like, hey man, I saw that YouTuber beat up an MMA guy, fighting isn't real, dude. Like, I'll just kick all your guys' asses. Like, you know, do you think, my take is that I think this is going to lead to someone getting hurt because they're going to get a little too overconfident over Jake Paul beating, you know what I mean, a dude who just came off of a hip replacement MMA fighter. No excuses. Ben Askren should have won. But I mean, what do you think is going to be the casualty of what occurred last night?
I definitely think that's like the worst case scenario, Derek, because that, I mean, YouTube is kind of everything nowadays. It's kind of more so the mainstream media, mainstream like TV source than actual mainstream like ABC, CBS, you know, all that jazz. Man, that would absolutely worst case scenario. What I think is going to happen, man, personally, is it kind of like taints the reputation of both MMA and gives like a false sense of security to boxing.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, the art of boxing is like beautiful and precise in the hand. Like it's a chess match, you know. We both box, you know. It's fun, man. It's precise. It's a beautiful art. But mixed martial arts is a whole nother art form in itself. And I've even had my friends text me like, "Is this guy legit? Like, is this dude, you know, is he for real? Like, did this guy really step into the ring, like the MMA ring, you know, the octagon?" And I think it's just it gives it almost too much light to, I think, an art form that is not the same aspect. You know, it's comparing apples to oranges, in my opinion, and really it just kind of confuses more people. Like you said, it could lead to bad things down the road on the real street, man. That's where you don't want it.
That's the thing, because it's the time, you know, the time old argument, really, right? Oh, boxing versus MMA. Well, boxer would win because they're so much nicer with their hands, but MMA fighter will win because they could take you on the ground, and what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's definitely interesting, and I guess Jake Paul lives to fight another day. He gets to call himself a fighter for, you know, another couple months until runs into somebody eventually, man, who's going to have to put him away. But this is starting to feel almost similar to Greg Hardy. When Greg Hardy came into the UFC, and we're all like, oh, he'll get knocked out by all of these dudes, and he just keeps winning, and you're just like, okay, all right, until he ran into Marcin Tybura. Tybura actually put him out. You know, he hit that ground and pound. Anyways, man, I don't know what the hell we talking about right now.
Jake Paul's the CM Punk of boxing is what you're trying to say, man.
More or less. You know, that was much more succinct.
The successful CM Punk.
Right, I want to talk about the thing that I foreshadowed a little bit earlier, man. Regis Prograis. Dude's a stud, man. I've actually been watching him, not anything to do with none of this entertainment stuff, just as a legitimate boxer. Like, this dude is legit. He's the next, in my book a couple years back, I labeled him as the next up and coming thing, right? You know, he's killing the game. 26-1, 21 knockouts, defeats Ivan Redkach or Redcock. I don't want to pronounce the name, but I only have read it. I have never said it, but we'll just call him Ivan, right? He's a Ukrainian boxer, and he loses via technical decision, but there's more to the story, AJ. This dude, right? So he's fighting Prograis, and Prograis hits him with a nice little right hook, grazes him on the kidney, right? It was a graze, right? And we know body shots hurt. We know if you get hit in that liver the right way, you're going down. We know even if you get touched in the kidney the right way, you're going down. Got it. Listen, nothing to be embarrassed about. That's human physiology, right? However, he gets kind of grazed, tagged on his kidney, right? So folks, if you're like assessing your own body, this is the left side of your body, not the right side where your liver is, but the left side, right? So he goes down, and he's withering in pain, right? And then he starts grabbing his cojones, man, starts grabbing the nuts and being like, oh, I got hit with the nut shot, withering around. I'm talking about like agony, like, you know, like soccer player style, you feel me? Like really dramatic. And it's 2021, right, AJ? Last time I checked, right? We live in a digital age. We've had instant replay for decades now at this point, right? So this dude must have forgotten that instant replay was a thing that exists, that we possess this technology, because as soon as it went to the instant replay, it showed he got grazed on the kidney, faked a nut shot, was down for so long, and it was so bad he became unresponsive to a degree and had to get stretchered out. And that was the co-main event of the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren spectacle, fiasco, you know, sideshow, whatever you want to call it. My question to you is this, man: what's more embarrassing? Going out there and being a professional boxer and losing like that to a body shot, or faking a nut shot and having to live with that for the rest of your life, knowing that you got stretchered out because that's talking about commitment, right? Like, you are so committed to this acting job that you said, I will get stretchered out, even though I know it's just, you know what I mean? It's just a body shot, man.
Respect to him for doubling down, man. When you're caught in a lie, you lie again. You double down on that bad boy. You got to play the heel if you're going to be the heel, my man. But I think it's a lot worse that he got caught in faking the nut shot. You know, that's not what you want. You want to be a fighter. You want to be the big bad dog in the room. You don't want to go down like a soccer player.
Here's the question though: who's more embarrassed at the night's end? Ben Askren getting knocked out in one round to a YouTuber, or this dude who literally stretchered out off of a fake nut shot?
I think it's, in my mind, if all things were equal, the fake nut shot, but Ben Askren is a lot more of a name, so we're not gonna remember that, man. So I think Ben Askren ultimately takes the biggest L of the night. But this doesn't look good for any profession for Regis Prograis.
This just made boxing and MMA side by side just look terrible in one night. You know, so
yeah, exactly. I'm glad you pointed that out, Derek. It literally what I said earlier about how it kind of inflated boxing and made it look, like almost too good, like better than MMA. Then you have this exact thing right before it. Like, yeah, it's a little fishy.
Yeah, man. And, who knows? Because we saw a video of Ben Askren walking very jolly right after getting knocked out, walking straight to the bank, cashing that $500,000 payday, plus all the sponsorships, plus all of the incentives that come with that, man. Dude, let's just say he made a mockery of himself. He probably tainted his own legacy, in my own humble opinion. But at the end of the day, man, dude's walking away with a pocket full of fucking cash. So I guess that's what matters these days, because the UFC does not offer no pensions, no unions, no nothing like that for their employees, for their athletes. But hey, man, what a way to conclude the word on the street.